I'm headed to the Junior Embalmers Convention in Kansas City. It's a prosthetic hand.
Yeah, that's not the problem. You care to explain this?
Curious.
Wednesday Season 2 delivered even more twists than its debut, with the biggest shock being the return of Gwendoline Christie as Larissa Weems. Though she died in Season 1 after being poisoned by Marilyn Thornhill, the showrunners cleverly brought her back in Season 2, Part 2 as Wednesday's spirit guide rather than undoing her death. Fans loved the move, especially since they had felt Weems was taken too soon, with creators Alfred Gough and Miles Millar teasing that no one is ever truly dead in this universe. Audiences are already speculating about which characters might return in Season 3. While Season 2 claimed quite a few characters, the one who has caused the biggest stir among viewers is the main villain, Isaac Knight. His introduction came through an animated sequence called The Tale of the Skull Tree, where we learned he was once a Nevermore student who had died but was resurrected by Pugsley Addams as a zombie. With every brain he ate, Isaac became more human, but his ambitions turned out to be much darker. His sister was Françoise Galpin, the mother of Season 1 villain Tyler, and Isaac's whole mission revolved around saving her by stripping away her hide abilities. The problem was that he didn't care who got hurt in the process. He originally died when Morticia interfered in one of his attempts, which would have drained Gomez of his powers and killed him. Season 2 built toward another desperate attempt with Pugsley's life on the line, but the Addams family managed to stop him once more. Even though Isaac died again, many fans think it would be a shame if such a layered character only lasted for one season, especially since Wednesday has already shown that death doesn't have to be permanent. The way Weems' return was handled is a great example of how the show can make the resurrections work without damaging the story. Bringing someone back from the dead can feel cheap, but the writers found a loophole. By making Weems a ghostly mentor instead of reversing her sacrifice, they kept the impact of her death intact. Fans were initially confused since Morticia had said in Season 1 that psychics were taught by their dead relatives, but the writers explained it with a retcon, revealing that Weems and Wednesday were distant cousins, part of the extended Addams bloodline. That small twist kept the lore consistent and even deepened the family's strange history. Her presence in Season 2 wasn't just fan service either. It gave Weems new layers, as she had to face her legacy and see what had become of Nevermore after her death. She discovered that her replacement, Barry Dort, was determined to erase her memory and push for outcast pride without cooperation with normies. That arc forced Weems to reflect, and it also let her act as a tough but insightful guide for Wednesday, delivering the kinds of brutal truths that helped the Raven grow. Even her old jealousy toward Morticia was resolved, allowing them to work together for Wednesday's sake. Instead of weakening her story, her return made her stronger, which is why fans are eager to see the same treatment given to another fallen character. And that brings us to Isaac Knight. He might have been Season 2's villain, but he captured audiences with his backstory and surprisingly relatable motivations. At first, he seemed cold and power-hungry, but then we saw how much he loved his sister and wanted to save her. He was even willing to step aside for her son Tyler when she asked him to. That kind of complexity makes a villain fascinating. The show also dropped hints about his childhood and his friendship with Gomez Addams, teasing more stories to explore. The reveal that Thing was originally Isaac's hand added even more depth. Gomez even said that Thing inherited whatever goodness Isaac had left, which makes fans curious about what kind of boy Isaac truly was before he betrayed his friend. Although Isaac spent much of Season 2 wandering around as a brain-eating zombie, the final episodes revealed his full potential. He wasn't just menacing, he was powerful. After regaining his hand and Da Vinci powers, he proved himself to be a dangerous adversary for the Addams clan. His telekinesis was especially impressive, even though it seemed to strain him. The show connected this ability to madness, which explains his instability, but also made him more unpredictable and entertaining. Given how much promise he showed in such a short time, it feels like there's still more story left to tell. So how could Isaac come back? Well, there are several possibilities. Flashbacks to Morticia and Gomez's school days would be the easiest option. Both seasons have already tied in stories from their pasts, and Season 3 looks likely to do the same with Morticia's sister Ophelia. It wouldn't be surprising if Isaac popped up in those flashbacks, showing more of his relationship with Gomez. Another route could be through Tyler, since male hides are prone to hallucinations when their masters die. Tyler has already seen visions of his father, and now that Francoise is gone too, he could start seeing Isaac. That would let Isaac act like a twisted spirit guide, haunting Tyler as his mind unravels. Then there's the possibility of resurrection. Since Isaac had already been brought back once and his regenerative abilities made him hard to kill, it wouldn't be too difficult to imagine someone reviving him again. His only true weakness was his clockwork heart. If his body wasn't destroyed, putting the heart back and recharging it could easily bring him back to life. Of course, that would come with risks. He might become immortal, and he'd almost certainly be bent on revenge against the Addams family. But considering the show's track record, it wouldn't be out of the question. Season 2 wasn't just about bringing back characters though, it also highlighted a problem the show can't ignore going forward. For all its creepy atmosphere and supernatural mystery, Wednesday works best when it mixes those elements with a little romance. Season 1 had its famous love triangle with Wednesday, Tyler, and Xavier, which some people thought was cringy at first, but it turned out to be one of the biggest reasons fans kept tuning in. Those who rooted for Xavier were thrilled whenever he and Wednesday had moments, while Team Tyler celebrated their first kiss before the shocking reveal that he was the Hyde. That triangle kept the drama alive, and it shaped Wednesday's character arc. When Season 2 rolled around, Xavier was absent due to behind-the-scenes issues, and the show decided to drop romance altogether in Part 1. Instead, it leaned into darker mysteries like the Raven attacks and Stalker storyline. While those arcs were intriguing, they weren't enough to carry the season. Viewership numbers showed a big drop between Part 1 and Part 2, proving that something was missing. It wasn't until Part 2 brought romance back into the mix with Wednesday and Tyler's complicated dynamic that the show regained its spark. Even without Xavier, Tyler's tortured presence and lingering chemistry with Wednesday reminded fans why romance works so well in this story. Part of what makes Wednesday fun to watch is seeing her awkwardly thrown into situations she doesn't fully understand, romance being one of the biggest ones. The mystery plots are solid, but they don't fully capture the coming-of-age aspect of her journey without those emotional entanglements. Even Harry Potter balanced its darker arcs with love stories, and Wednesday seems to need the same kind of balance. By the time Season 2 ended, Tyler had clearly been set up as Wednesday's strongest love interest. His interactions with her in Willow Hill were packed with tension, and Hunter Doohan's performance hinted at unspoken emotions that made fans obsessed with their dynamic. Social media lit up with edits and clips of their scenes together, proving that audiences craved this layer of storytelling. Whether the writers decide to double down on Tyler or bring in someone new, it's obvious that romance has to stay a central part of the show moving forward. And that's really the big takeaway from Season 2. The rule that Season 3 cannot afford to break is removing the romance entirely. Wednesday can survive without it for a while, but to thrive, it needs that added drama. It's not just about giving her a boyfriend, it's about creating those messy emotional conflicts that push her to grow. Tim Burton is known for crafting darkly fascinating couples, and with his touch, Wednesday could give us another iconic pairing. Looking ahead, Season 3 has so much potential. We could see more of Ophelia and Morticia's past, Isaac's possible return, and new twists in Wednesday's journey. But for the show to stay addictive, it has to remember what made it work in the first place: a balance of mystery, horror, humor, and romance. Fans will accept ghosts, zombies, and shapeshifters, but what really hooks them are the messy human emotions beneath it all. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering more updates on this soon.